I have negotiated 2 betrothals in my life. One was known to all under heaven. To my husband Song Jue, with whom I shared a life of mutual respect. The other was a secret, to His Majesty the current emperor, my childhood sweetheart. Young and arrogant then, I shed countless tears, refusing to share a husband with another woman. In a fit of pique, I begged for an imperial edict to marry Song Jue, who had come to the capital from Xuzhou to report on his duties, and left the capital in haste. 3 years into our marriage, letters arrived from the capital every year, asking if I had grown tired of the scenery. I never wrote back. Not until Song Jue discussed with me his intention to take a concubine. That was when I picked up my brush to reply. I have seen enough of the scenery. Come and fetch me. The brush tip withdrew, ink seeping through the paper. I stared quietly for a moment, then folded the letter and slipped it into an envelope. My maid Xuzhou sealed it for me. Miss, are we truly returning to the capital? I hung the brush, stood up, pushed open the window, and let the ink fragrance drift away. I lost the bet with him. It is time to go back. Even if I did not return, once word reached the capital, he would come to fetch me anyway. It would be more humiliating if I waited for that. Xuzhou fell silent for a moment, then sighed suddenly. If only your husband had not wanted a concubine. He seemed such a good man before. The husband she spoke of was my husband, Song Jue. 3 years ago, Song Jue, with nothing to his name, came to ask for my hand. I demanded he promise me 2 conditions. First, we would never ask about each other's pasts. Second, I would never share a husband, and he must never take a concubine in the future. Song Jue held my hands, looked into my eyes, and swore to heaven. With the emperor's granted marriage, I shall cherish you with all my heart. I looked into those sincere eyes, never believing what Xuzhou had said to me back then. Do you think that if you marry someone else, he will never take a concubine? I was young and willful back then, not even giving face to the crown prince. There are so many people in the world. If you cannot do it, what right do you have to say, others cannot? Back then, Xuzhou and I quarreled secretly for a full year. He was determined to marry no one but me, yet I would rather die than marry him. All because I would not allow him to take a side concubine. Because of this, the crown prince's wedding was postponed 7 times, yet no one in the outside world knew the reason. Xuzhou protected me very well. Finally, he grew tired and decided to let go. Enough. Marry whoever you wish. But there was a condition. He made a bet with me. If one day even my husband failed to keep his word, that would be the day I returned to the capital to marry him. That was why, on our wedding night, I said to Song Jue, "You must never go back on the promises you made to me." I did not dare say it plainly, fearing it would frighten him, so I spoke in jest. You know, there are still many people in the capital who care for me. Song Jue was gentle-natured. His eyes reddened as he gazed at me. Xuzhou, your reputation fills the capital. I, Song Jue, have nothing. All I can offer you is my true heart. He truly meant it. Shortly after we married, unrest broke out in the capital. Song Jue escorted me out of the city, took 2 knife wounds for me, and nearly lost his life. Later, when we reached Xuzhou, I fell ill from the unfamiliar climate, suffering from night sweats and nightmares. He stayed up all night to watch over me, even delaying his official appointment by half a month. He even went to great lengths to find every plant and tree from the capital, just to ease my homesickness. And when I was pregnant, he took care of everything personally. He did have a true heart, once. The sky was pale blue, fine rain falling like silk threads. My maid Ruhua knelt in the courtyard without an umbrella, her white clothes thin, her face disheveled. This is the 7th day she has come to kneel before you. She is truly determined to beg you to let her into the manor. I glanced at Ruhua from afar. Both she and Xuzhou were my dowry maids from the capital. Ruhua's status was even half a rank higher than Xuzhou's. That was why I usually left her to wait outside the door when Song Jue and I were together. I was carefree. It was not until recently, when Song Jue went out on official business, that Xuzhou mentioned to me, "Your husband's fan tassel looks like it was made by Ruhua." Only then did I realize what was going on. But I never expected Ruhua to be pregnant, kneeling and begging me to spare her and her child. If I did not nod, she knelt every day. How could she not be determined? She knows that once she enters the manor, I will return to the capital, and she will become the mistress here. Xuzhou suddenly understood. Right! She also knows about the bet between you and His Majesty. Ruhua lifted her head and looked at us from a distance. I looked away. But this is her last day kneeling to me. Why? Because I did not finish speaking. Over there, Song Jue held an umbrella, hurried over, pulled Ruhua up, and held her tightly in his arms. Ruhua, get up. Because today was the day he returned from his official errand. A gust of wind blew, slanting the rain. Ruhua staggered and fainted. Song Jue carried her in his arms, walked to the corridor, and looked at me through the window. Ning Changshu, so while I was away, you tormented her like this. No matter what you say this time, I will take her as my concubine. With that, he turned and left. Xuzhou could not hold back her anger, and rushed to the window. It was not my lady who made her kneel. I remained unmoved, closing the window to block out the rain. It does not matter. We are leaving anyway. I will give my approval in the next few days. It would not be in vain for us to be husband and wife. Xuzhou clenched the envelope tightly. Very well. When the gardener comes tomorrow, I will give him the letter. The soil of Xuzhou did not nurture people well, nor could it raise the famous flowers and plants of the capital. So on the 5th day of every month, a gardener would deliver flowers to the manor, all flowers from the capital, such as peonies and herbaceous peonies. They were sent by Xiao Shu. He knew I disliked being secretly watched, so he only sent flowers regularly, along with a letter asking if I was well. Yet at the end of every letter, there was always one line. Have you grown tired of the scenery in Xuzhou? Out of consideration for Song Jue's feelings, I never replied to him. It was not until yesterday that I finally put brush to paper. It was the 5th day again, and the gardener arrived. Madam, these are the most fashionable 5-colored chrysanthemums in the capital now. 50 pots were sent all the way. After the bumpy journey, only these 2 are barely presentable enough for you. When I was young, flower banquets were often held in the capital. No invitation was needed. One only needed a famous flower to enter. I loved looking at flowers but did not know how to grow them. Xiao Shu always prepared everything for me in advance. Even now, when I was not in the capital, he still sent the best every year. I stretched out my fingertips and stroked the petals. They are beautiful. I like them very much. The gardener was stunned, then overjoyed. This is the first time you have said you like them in 3 years. His Majesty will be absolutely delighted when he hears this. I smiled indifferently. If Xiao Shu was truly as infatuated as he claimed, he would not have let me marry someone else back then. Xuzhou took out the envelope and handed it to the gardener. This is from my lady to your master. The gardener looked at me. What is this? I nodded solemnly. It is my wish. Very well, I understand. He quickly took it and turned to leave the manor. But in his haste, he bumped into Song Jue, who had arrived early that morning. The letter accidentally fell at Song Jue's feet. Xuzhou looked at me nervously. When I walked to the door, I saw Song Jue pick up the letter and hold it tightly. What is this? I spoke up in time to smooth things over. It is the reward money I gave him. Song Jue was suspicious. Why use an envelope? Silver notes. I kept my face unchanged. Song Jue looked at me. Really? He did not believe me. He opened the envelope directly and pulled out half an inch. Sure enough, it was several silver notes. Only then did he hand it back to the gardener. He did not know that tucked between the stuck-together silver notes was the letter I had written. By the time this letter was sent to the capital on a fast horse, my marriage to Song Jue would be over. So what was one concubine? I told you to take good care of her before I left. Song Jue had spent the night at Ruhua's place and confronted me as soon as they met. This is how you took care of her? I did not look at him and continued organizing my books. She knelt of her own free will. Song Jue could not stand my cold indifference and swept the pile of books off the desk. Ning Changshu, do you know that after kneeling for 7 days, she miscarried her child? The ground was in a mess. I was speechless for a moment. Even if Ruhua had lost her child, what did that have to do with me? I explained it to you in my letter. It only happened once, during the time you were pregnant. She never asked for anything, and I never wanted you to know. Song Jue's voice trailed off. He turned sideways and said lightly, now you have been too cruel. I have to compensate her by taking her as my concubine. I said nothing, squatted down to pick up the books on the ground, and placed a few on my knees. Suddenly I lowered my head and laughed unexpectedly. What about me? You will still be Madame Song. I lifted my head and looked at him with a smile, my eyes blurred with tears. No, I mean, I was also pregnant with your child once. Why did you never think of compensating me? Could it be that the compensating you gave me was a personal maid carrying your child? Song Jue looked down at me for a moment. Shushu, don't cry. He felt sorry for me and helped me up. Taking a concubine is an ordinary thing. Besides, she is someone who came from your side. Others are others. I curved my lips, my vision blurred, my voice still calm. But you promised me. Song Jue met my gaze. His expression paused, and he opened his mouth softly. But I also promised her before I came that I would give her a title. I looked at him, my heart aching terribly. Song Jue, you are telling me today that you must take this concubine, even if the consequence is losing me? Enough, Ning Changshu. His expression suddenly changed, and he pulled his hand away. Every time I mention taking a concubine, you threaten me with words like this. How childish are you? You have been married in Xuzhou for 3 years. Who in the capital are you still thinking about? I closed my eyes and lowered my head in a hurry. A tear slid down my cheek. In that case, marry her. I heard my voice, mixed in the continuous drizzle, clear and not like my own. Song Jue was stunned. You agree? I lifted my head and looked directly at him. Yes, Song Jue. I, Ning Changshu, give you permission to take a concubine. Song Jue froze in place. I turned around and stared blankly at the tender chrysanthemums outside the window. It was only early September. I should not have had winter clothes made so early. I would not live to wear them. The weather is getting cold. I made several sets of clothes. Send them to her as a welcoming gift. I picked out all the new clothes from the cabinet and had them sent to his people. Song Jue was stunned. But if you give them all to her, what will you wear? I turned my back to him, my fingertips stiffening slightly. I will make new ones for myself. Song Jue reached out to embrace me from behind, his voice gentle. Right, those are not worthy of my lady. I will go out shopping with you in a few days as compensation. Before leaving, he noticed the 2 pots of flowers. 5 colored chrysanthemums? You have them here. I heard His Majesty has been collecting this flower everywhere recently. There are even rumors that it is in preparation for the Empress's inauguration. Shishu poured tea by the window. I was just taking the teacup when my fingertips trembled, and scalding tea spilled out. Xiao Shu was going to make someone his empress? Song Jue quickly took my hand, his tone concerned. Are you all right? He turned to look at Shishu. You are not careful in your work. Shishu smiled cheekily. Of course. Those who are careful have other important things to do, leaving only clumsy people like me. Song Jue was left speechless. I glanced at Shishu, and she bowed and retreated. His Majesty is going to make someone his empress? I asked casually. I also heard it from rumors. Song Jue wiped my fingertips with a handkerchief. His Majesty's Crown Princess selection was delayed several times back then. Then there was the unrest in the capital, and after he hastily ascended the throne, he had no time to care about the harem. But rumors have spread quietly in the past month. I listened in a daze. Xiao Shu was actually going to get married? But my letter had just been sent. It must not have reached him yet. So the person he was going to marry was not me. Song Jue left at some point. I sat there in a daze. Shishu, go find the last letter. We found Xiao Shu's last letter, dated the beginning of last month. But there was no letter this month. My heart sank slowly. His Majesty has written letters for 3 years without missing a single one. Maybe he was just busy with state affairs and forgot once. I clenched the letter paper, staring blankly, as if asking someone, "Do you think he will still come to fetch me?" Xuzhou did not dare to say for sure, because the last time I parted from Xiao Shu, he personally handed me the imperial edict granting my marriage. His eyes were red, with dark circles under them. Clearly he had not slept all night. When he handed over the scroll, his hand gripped it so tightly that his fingertips trembled slightly. His voice was also shaking. "Xuzhou, if he treats you badly in the future, please give me a chance to bring you back." I never thought he would really be willing to let go. After a long silence, I finally took the yellow scroll and said no more. Only before boarding the carriage did I turn back and nod gently at him. But now, times had changed. I waited for 3 days and did not receive a reply from Xiao Shu. Meanwhile, the rumors of establishing an empress in the court became more and more true. It was said that to celebrate the emperor and empress's wedding at the end of the year, taxes were reduced in many places, except Xuzhou, where all taxes and grain were exempted for a full 3 years. Song Jue was the one who told me this. I thought it was only halved. Why is Xuzhou completely exempted? I could not help but be surprised. In my memory, Xiao Shu was not a generous man. At least not in the 3 years I had been married in Xuzhou. I had never seen him show favor to this place. Perhaps His Majesty pities this land for being poor. A full exemption will not cost the national treasury much. Far from the emperor's reach, Song Jue did not care. He set the next evening to officially promote Ruhua to concubine. "Xuzhou, I swear to you, this once only, I will never take another concubine in my life." I gently pulled my hand away from his grasp. "Song Jue, there is no need. I have already learned what your oaths are worth." He looked at me firmly. "Ning Changshu, have you never been with someone else?" He hesitated to speak, then stood up and left with a flick of his sleeve. Xuzhou just walked into the room. "Miss, does your husband know something?" "Perhaps." My thoughts were in chaos, and I felt only tired. "It has come to this. I no longer care." But Xuzhou hurried closer and lowered her voice. "Miss, what you have been waiting for has arrived." I took the letter and opened it. I recognized it at a glance. It was Xiao Shu's own handwriting. "When Song Jue takes his concubine, I will come to fetch you back to the capital." He was really coming to fetch me. The night before the concubine-taking ceremony, Ruhua came to kowtow and offer me tea. I let her in. She cried like a pear blossom in the rain. "Miss, you have lost your husband, but you have a better place to go." "But if I lose my husband, I will have nothing left." I did not drink her tea. "You have always been more capable than Xuzhou since you were young, careful and cautious, never crying in front of others. You have not wronged me, nor have you wronged Song Jue. You have only wronged yourself." Ruhua stopped crying. Xuzhou reluctantly handed her the dowry box. "This is the dowry I prepared for you before, intending to give it to you when you married. Now?" My voice trailed off, and I stood up. "Now, I give it to you. From now on, there is no more friendship between us. Take care of yourself." Ruhua was stunned for a moment, held it in her arms, bowed to me repeatedly, and then left. On the night Song Jue took Ruhua as his concubine, since she had no relatives, he had to gather everyone in the manor, and barely set up a few tables of banquets. Originally, Xuzhou and I were not going to show up. We closed the door and packed our luggage. After packing for a while, Song Jue sent someone to invite me, saying that several colleagues had come uninvited and needed me to go out to receive them. Xuzhou said in disgust. "People even come to a concubine-taking banquet? What rude adults." My fingertips paused, and I suddenly understood something. I hurriedly changed into my formal clothes and stepped out of the room. That night, the manor was hung with lanterns everywhere, bright and flickering, reflecting the figures of people. I trotted all the way until I turned the corner of the corridor and stopped abruptly. Xiao Shu was standing among the crowd in the courtyard, noble and elegant, talking and laughing calmly. The lantern light swept across his eyebrows and eyes. He was talking to someone when his gaze suddenly looked over from afar, through the noisy crowd, and landed precisely on my face. Then, very softly and slowly, he mouthed 5 words. "I have come to fetch you." The capital was 1,000 miles away from Xuzhou. Yet he had come in person. Song Jue also saw me, his eyes brightening, a smile curving his lips. He came to greet me and led me into the crowd. "This is my wife, Lady Ning." I greeted everyone in turn. When it was Xiao Shu's turn, I hesitated, not knowing how to address him. Song Jue introduced. "Master Shu is a merchant traveling between the capital and Xuzhou. We have been friends for many years." After passing the imperial examination, Song Jue had served as an official abroad. He had met the late emperor when he entered the capital, but had never seen the crown prince. He did not recognize Xiao Shu. But I was stunned by his words. "You have been friends for many years? How could they be friends?" I could not help but look at Song Jue. "I never heard you mention it." Song Jue lowered his head and smiled at me. "When you first came to Xuzhou, you were not used to everything here. Thanks to my accidental acquaintance with Brother Shu, I asked him to help buy all kinds of things from the capital. He does not stay in Xuzhou often, so you never met him." With that, he turned to Xiao Shu. "My wife is picky about her tastes. Ordinary things do not please her. Fortunately, Brother Shu can always find what she likes. Thank you so much." I subconsciously looked at Xiao Shu. So those things were all found by him. No wonder they suited my taste so well. "My sister-in-law's taste is not picky." Xiao Shu spoke the first words after our reunion, his voice cold and deep. My heart tugged gently. "My taste," was he saying my taste was bad? Xiao Shu looked away and then looked directly at me, his gaze meaningful. "The capital and Xuzhou are indeed very different. Is Madam used to it now?" "Thank you, Master Shu." I lowered my eyes. I was not used to it at first, but I got used to it slowly. Xiao Shu did not speak again, but I could feel his gaze always on me, never leaving for an inch. The words he asked meant nothing to others, but I understood. Naturally, he also understood my answer. At that moment others leaned over to chat and laugh with Song Jue, envying him for having a virtuous wife and taking a beautiful concubine. Song Jue exchanged pleasantries with them. Several young men began to talk about marriage, and some even joked and asked me to be a matchmaker. Song Jue suddenly turned to Xiao Shu and smiled. "I have known Brother Shu for so long, but I still do not know if you have a wife." Xiao Shu seemed to be staring at me in a daze, disturbed by this question. A trace of displeasure flashing in his eyes. He glanced lightly at Song Jue, loneliness covering his eyebrows. "It is a long story. A great disaster struck my family a few years ago. I had no choice but to entrust my wife to someone else for refuge. Later, although the disaster was over, they had become husband and wife. What place did—" I stood beside Song Jue and looked at him quietly, my heart sour. Back then, he had clearly sent me away with an imperial edict, yet now he spoke of refuge, as if he was the one wronged. "Master Shu is talented and good-looking. Why cling to a woman who has changed her heart?" But Xiao Shu could not bear to hear this and retorted seriously. "She has not changed her heart. Not long ago, she told me she was tired of that man and was willing to come home with me." He looked at me every time he spoke. I could not help but take half a step back, leaned close to Shishu, and asked softly, "Was my letter meant like that?" Shishu frowned deeply. "So that sentence meant that?" My pupils shook violently. "Have you grown tired of the scenery in Xuzhou? Have you grown tired of the man in Xuzhou?" Song Jue frowned tightly. "There is a saying, 'Marry a wife for her virtue.' How could you fancy such a fickle woman?" Xiao Shu pretended to hesitate and sighed softly. "Now that you say it, she is indeed not virtuous. She would not allow me to take a concubine, nor is she as generous as my sister-in-law." He took the opportunity to stare at me. "What would you do if you were me?" Song Jue pondered. "If I were you, she has been married before, I would mind." "Good that you mind," Xiao Shu whispered. "What?" Song Jue did not hear clearly. Xiao Shu realized he had said the wrong thing and patched it up calmly. I mean, I do not mind. I am just passing by to drink a cup of wedding wine. After the banquet, I will go fetch your sister-in-law and take her back. Song Jue saw that he was overjoyed and did not say more. Then I wish Master Shu to embrace the beauty. Do not forget to send a wedding invitation if you have happy news in the future. Xiao Shu looked at him with a faint smile and suddenly reached out to pat him on the shoulder. Rest assured, your name will be the first on the wedding invitation. I could not listen anymore, twisting the silk handkerchief between my fingertips and coughing lightly. Song Jue came to his senses and held my hand. Did the wind blow on you? I had to admit he had always been gentle to me, but such gentleness had also been given to others, making it worthless. I pulled my hand back. The servants just reported that the front hall banquet is ready. Song Jue's eyes dimmed. But Xiao Shu took over the conversation. Madam is thoughtful. If we do not start the banquet soon, I am afraid we will really miss the auspicious time. Song Jue looked at me, told me to rest early tonight, and then led everyone to the front hall. I stayed there alone. The group walked farther and farther away. Song Jue looked back at me, and Xiao Shu, walking in front of him, also turned around, his gaze openly falling on me. Shishu quietly approached my ear. Did His Majesty mean that after the banquet, he will come to find us? Xiao Shu and I had played such tricks since we were children. Even as childhood sweethearts under everyone's noses, no one would suspect us of having a secret relationship. He rarely interacted with me in public. Just like that night, saying all the words that needed to be said. Yet only we understood them. When I was young, I found it quite amusing. After all, Xiao Shu was the noble crown prince, and his appearance was extremely handsome. There was no noble lady in the capital who did not adore him. So even being secretly favored by him satisfied my vanity greatly. But now I was a married woman, knowing more, and no longer liked hidden relationships. Let him come or not. I turned and went back to the room. Shishu stayed with me all the time. His Majesty has arrived, which means we are going back to the capital. Why are you not happy? I clenched the comb tightly, red marks pressed into my palm. He is going to make someone his empress. What identity will I have if I go back with him? Shishu paused. Based on His Majesty's affection for you, even if you cannot be empress, you will most likely be a noble consort. I looked at the bronze mirror and pulled my lips slightly. Noble consort. I closed my eyes. Go down. I want to rest. Shishu retreated. I sat for a while and then went to close the window. As soon as I touched it, the window pane flipped up sharply, and a figure jumped in quickly, scaring me back. Shushu, it is me. Xiao Shu wrapped one arm around my waist and closed the window steadily with the other, not alarming anyone during the whole process. His skill at climbing through windows was still the same as before. I pushed him away. Your Majesty, I am a married woman. Please address me as Madam Song. Madam Song? The joy in Xiao Shu's eyes faded, and sadness appeared. I have come to fetch you. I turned around and bit my lip tightly. The marriage between Song Jue and me was granted by Your Majesty's imperial edict. Why are you here putting on an act? Putting on an act? The man fell silent for a long time. Ning Changshu, I traveled 1,000 miles to Xuzhou for your words, not even stopping at the post stations along the way, and you say I am putting on an act? Are you doing this for me? I turned to look at him. You are only doing this for what you never got. Xiao Shu looked at me, his eyes slowly turning red, emotions churning inside them. Did I never have you? He walked closer slowly, his fingertips brushing my face, calling me softly. Shushu, have you forgotten? We were never innocent in the past. Of course I remembered. In those years, I was the eldest legitimate daughter of the Ning family during the day, my reputation filling the capital, never associating with strange men. But at night, the crown prince would always climb through my window. At first, we only played around. Xiao Shu had indulged me so much, raising me to be fearless, I even pressed the crown prince onto the bed and told him to take off his clothes and show me. Xiao Shu's face turned bright red at that time. He refused. Later, after many times, he could not resist and gave in. Our enlightenment to love between men and women made us indulge deeply. But Xiao Shu was steady and careful. No matter how I tempted him, he refused to go all the way. He said that although he would definitely marry me, losing one's chastity before marriage was not good. It should be saved for the wedding night. Saving and saving, he saved it for Song Jue. I was even grateful when I married. Xiao Shu must have thought of this too, his expression extremely ugly. They were just childhood fun. They do not count. I turned to leave. My wrist was tightly grabbed by him. Madam Song, you liked it very much before, but now you do not care anymore. He was right behind my ear, his voice trembling. Do you think Song Jue is better than me? If he had not changed his heart, would you have stayed with him forever? Yes. I lowered my head and hardened my heart to break his fingers one by one. Xiao Shu, time waits for no one. If not for that bet, you and I would have cut off all ties long ago. How could he push me away? Why should I wait for him? I sat on the bed, lowered the gauze curtain, and blocked that hard-to-ignore gaze. Leave. Take me back to the capital tomorrow. We will talk about the rest when we return. The man stood there motionless, his voice low and hoarse. You do not love me anymore? I nodded. Yes. He took 2 steps closer. Then do you hate him? I thought of Song Jue. At this moment, he was probably sharing a bed with Ruhua, and my heart still felt uncomfortable. Perhaps. A shadow suddenly fell in front of me. The gauze curtain was pulled high, and Xiao Shu slipped in. Then tonight, he is with his new love. You should not be alone in your empty room. I looked at the person suddenly close in front of me, a little surprised. So you are still angry with me? Yes. He lowered his head and touched the tip of my nose. I allow you to use me to take revenge on him. He bit his lip. It was already bright red, and it became even more gorgeous at this moment. Just pretend that your servant and I have never known each other. He was too close to me. I could even see his tongue pressing against his lower teeth, speaking word by word. Take revenge on him fiercely. Xiao Shu's tongue. Many absurd images from my youth suddenly flooded my mind, making my heart race and my ears burn instantly. His words were too tempting. After tonight, Song Jue and I would go our separate ways. If he could do such things, so could I. Okay. Before the words were fully out, Xiao Shu had already grabbed my waist and kissed me fiercely. The kiss was urgent and rough. I closed my eyes, but everything about Xiao Shu became clearer in my mind. He and Song Jue were completely different people. Song Jue was gentle and subtle. Xiao Shu was strong and straightforward. Their styles of doing things were vastly different. I lay on the soft pillow, stretched out one hand, and held tightly to the edge of the bed. Be gentle. Am I lighter than him? He was too mean. Don't. I lowered my head, bit my knuckle, and replied intermittently. Yes, after I lost that child last time. He and I haven't shared a bed for a long time. No wonder. He sighed softly. I got lucky. At that moment, the door and window suddenly moved. I looked up, and through teary eyes, I saw a blurry figure. Shushu. It was Song Jue's voice. Why was he here? I immediately sobered up, pressed Xiao Shu, and signaled him with my eyes. Fortunately, Shishu was guarding outside. My lady has already fallen asleep. The room was silent. Song Jue's voice was not loud, but it sounded particularly clear to my ears. She did not blow out the lamp. I know she cannot sleep with even the slightest light. Song Jue stepped closer. Shushu, I know you are awake. He was a little persistent. I want to see you. I frowned deeply. Xiao Shu held me from behind. Do not worry. I brought men. I can drive him away. He was simply a robber. I pushed him away, put on my clothes, lowered the layers of bed curtains, and told Xiao Shu to hide. Stay on the bed, do not move. He nodded, extremely obedient. I went to open the door for Song Jue, and stopped at the door, not letting him in. "Why are you here?" Song Jue had drunk a lot of wine tonight, his eyes blurred, his mind unclear. "I just came to see if you were still here." I looked at him coldly. "Song Jue, you are in the wrong place. Tonight is your wedding night. Someone is waiting for you." He was stunned for a while, as if his consciousness was returning. I was about to close the door when my hand was suddenly grabbed. I remembered. "She told me you had a very close lover before. You married me only because you could not be with him. Xuzhou, can you tell me who that person is?" "Song Jue, you promised me two things." I looked directly into his eyes without avoiding them. "First, never ask about each other's pasts. Second, never take a concubine in this life." I paused. "You have failed to keep both promises now, have you not?" Song Jue's face froze. "You did not deny it." He suddenly pulled me hard toward him, as if crazy. "Ning Changshu, why do you not deny it?" I looked at him extremely calmly. What happened between him and me before we met? Why should I deny it? He was confused and let go of his hand. "So you do not love him anymore, right?" He stepped across the threshold and circled me in his arms. "Xuzhou, say it. The person you love is me, right?" Song Jue was really drunk. The smell of alcohol was strong. I tried hard to push him away, but he held me tighter. Just as I was struggling desperately. Suddenly the man leaned back, lost his strength, and fell slowly to the ground. Xiao Shu withdrew his hand and came out from behind the door. I said, "No." The next day, when he woke up, I had already packed my luggage. Song Jue walked to the corridor. "Xuzhou, where are you going?" I turned to look at him. "You are awake." Song Jue looked at me, pressed his eyebrows, as if recalling. "What happened last night?" He narrowed his eyes slightly, his fingertips falling on my neck, where there was a new red mark. I stepped back half a step, covered it, and looked a little unnatural. "Song Jue, I want to tell you." Song Jue's eyes moved, and a smile curved his lips. "Did we reconcile last night?" I was stunned. He thought this was left by him. Song Jue held my hands and stared into my eyes. "You have ignored me for a long time since Ruhua's incident. Now we can finally put this matter behind us." I was speechless for a moment. At that moment, Ruhua also came at the end of the corridor. She changed into the clothes I gave her, combed a married woman's hairstyle, and Song Jue had bought 2 little maids for her. She had a certain dignity now. She came to pay her respects to me. Song Jue told her about last night. Ruhua smiled and said, "It does not matter. I know my lady's temper best. I am already satisfied that she allowed me to stay by your side and serve you." Her thoughtfulness left Song Jue with nothing to say. Ruhua looked at me and asked, knowingly, where I was going. "Preparing to go back to my parents' home." I did not want to say more. "Leaving today?" Song Jue was surprised. "Yes, leaving today." Song Jue stood in front of me. "Wait until I take a few days off, and I will accompany you back personally." I stared at the corner of his clothes. "Song Jue, I have been in a bad mood lately. I just want to go out and relax alone. Can you understand?" He stepped forward half a step. Ruhua tugged at his sleeve and persuaded him softly. "Husband, my lady has already packed up. It seems the itinerary has been arranged long ago. You cannot take leave for a while, so let my lady go first. I heard His Majesty's wedding is coming soon. Officials will have leave then. You can go back to the capital and stay a few more days." Song Jue hesitated a little. "There will be leave for the Emperor and Empress's wedding." Xuzhou came back to report. "Miss, the carriage is ready." I glanced at Song Jue and interrupted his hesitation. Then listened to Ruhua's arrangement. At the manor gate, I boarded the carriage. Song Jue chased out, lifted the curtain, and looked at me. "Xuzhou, go back first. After the new year, I will accompany you to stay in the capital for a few more days." I looked at him for a long time and nodded gently. "So, the Song Jue, even if we meet again, we will no longer be husband and wife." But he looked at me carefully and laughed softly. Somehow I feel a little uneasy. Maybe because this is the first time we have been apart. He lowered the curtain and told the coachman to be careful. The wheels rolled slowly. I looked back, watching the pair of figures grow farther and farther away, leaving Xuzhou, a faint melancholy spreading in my heart. Xiao Shu and his guards were waiting for me outside Suzhou City. As soon as he saw me, he pulled me into his carriage. "Wait for me." The coachman drove the carriage to the edge of a cliff and pushed it down, smashing it to pieces. Shishu rubbed dust on her body, making herself look embarrassed. "Miss, take good care of yourself. I cannot go with you and His Majesty, can I? I still have to go back and report." Xiao Shu had arranged a fake death for me to get away. He had wanted to take me away directly, but he was afraid Song Jue would pester me and damage my reputation. From now on, there will be no more Madame Song, the original wife. I was distracted by these words. Xiao Shu held my face. "Shu, forget him. Just treat the past 3 years as us living apart." I looked at Xiao Shu calmly. He was not good. "What about you? You have made me nameless. How do you plan to arrange me?" He was stunned. "How can I arrange you? What do you mean?" I closed my eyes. "Xiao Shu, I admitted defeat in the bet and agreed to come back with you, but I did not agree to let you dispose of me as you wish. I know you will not let me marry again, but I do not want to enter the palace as a concubine or a consort. Just keep me outside the palace." The man in front of me did not speak for a long time. When I opened my eyes, I saw his face pale, staring at me in disbelief. "Ning Changshu, do you think I traveled 1,000 miles and went to great lengths to bring you back just to covet a secret, improper relationship with you? Was that not what you did before?" Xiao Shu clenched his palms tightly and said through gritted teeth, "If I really wanted that, I would have killed Song Jue long ago these years. Would I have watched him have children with you?" He leaned close to me, his voice trembling faintly. "Shu, I know you hate me for letting go, so you turned to someone else. But these 3 years, every move you made with him in Xuzhou, every smile, every night, do you think this punishment has not been enough for me?" I fell silent. Indeed, I accepted Song Jue so quickly back then, partly out of resentment toward Xiao Shu. I did not want to miss him. I wanted him to see that whoever married me would live a good life. He would never understand how much I did not want to lose that bet. "Xiao Shu, I am no longer the old Ning Changshu. I have seen true heart, experienced love between men and women, and I do not want to have that hidden relationship with you anymore. You were the one who started it first. So what if I was?" The long-suppressed grievance suddenly surged up, my voice choking. "I did not understand before, but now I do not want you anymore. Is that not allowed?" Xiao Shu's eyes darkened. "Fine, I will never touch you again." He kept his word. We returned to the capital. He did not take me into the palace, but sent me back home. My parents had received the news and were waiting at home, tears in their eyes when they saw me. I had married in a hurry back then, followed Song Jue to Xuzhou, and been away for 3 years. Shortly after the carriage left the city gate, unrest broke out in the capital. I wanted to go back immediately, but Song Jue was stabbed for me, so I had to take him for medical treatment first. My mother's temples had turned white with age. She cried and hugged me tightly. "It is good you did not come back. It was too dangerous back then. Otherwise, I might not have seen you again." I learned the inside story of that year from my mother. It turned out that the unrest in the capital was a struggle for the throne. Do you still remember the 2 candidates for side concubines who were betrothed to the crown prince back then? Lady Shui and Lady Tang? Of course. They came from prominent families, were very close, and always targeted me, making me lose face in public many times. I recalled the past and sighed suddenly. Speaking of which, I was in Xuzhou and never heard about them again. I wonder which families they married now. My mother sighed. They are dead. My heart skipped a beat. What? The rebels were determined to succeed back then and killed everyone related to the crown prince. Both families suffered disaster, young as they were. My mother stroked my eyebrows, her tone relieved. Sure, It is a good thing you married Song Jue and left the capital in time. Otherwise, you might not have survived. She had known about Xuzhou and me. I was stunned speechless when I suddenly heard what happened back then. My mother then asked me why Song Jue was not coming back with me. I told her everything. My mother sighed. What a pity. You too had no fate. Shortly after I returned home, I received a letter from Xuzhou. She told me that when Song Jue heard the news of my death, he was so shocked that he could not stand and fell to the ground. Ruhua went to help him but was pushed away. How could this be? He knelt on the ground, tears streaming down his face, repeating over and over. I should have accompanied her back personally. Song Jue refused to believe I was dead. He rode his horse personally to the cliff where I had fallen. Everyone gave the same story. A falling rock from the top of the mountain startled the horse, and the carriage lost control and rushed off the cliff. Madam's body was never found. Song Jue did not return home that day. He went to the bottom of the cliff, searched alone along the mountain stream for a long time, from dawn to dark, only finding a few tattered pieces of clothing. Xuzhou wrote in the letter that Song Jue sat in the rubble, clutching those relics, and cried until he gradually lost his voice. Even Ruhua was somewhat blamed. Miss, be careful. Your husband has changed his temperament. If he sees you again someday, he will probably go crazy. Be careful. Be careful. I did not expect Xuzhou to use such exaggerated words. Song Jue never went crazy. Even when I lost our child, he could comfort me well. Now that I was gone, he might be sad for a while, but Ruhua was good at soothing him, and would not let him dwell on the past. At this moment, I cared more about one person. It was Xuzhou. After bringing me back to the capital, he really never came to see me again. I wrote many letters, wanting to ask him many things. But when it was time to send them, I found they could not be sent into the palace. Once there were Xuzhou's people everywhere around me, but now there was none. He had really withdrawn. Every time, it was like this. 3 years away from the capital, the scenery at home was still the same, except for a paternal aunt who was about my age, had been mentally disabled since childhood, and had passed away a year ago. Why did no one tell me? My parents looked at each other, as if discussing. Finally, my father spoke carefully. I do not know why, but when His Majesty heard about it, he told us not to inform outsiders, so we only buried her secretly. I did not understand Xuzhou's intention at first, until an imperial edict was sent to the mansion, saying that Ning Ruyu, the legitimate daughter of the Ning family, would be made empress. Ning Ruyu was my aunt's former name, but she was already dead. My parents received the imperial edict and discussed behind closed doors with me. Sure, what do you think His Majesty means? Besides me, there were no other daughters in the Ning family. I took the imperial edict. I will marry in her place. That night, my mother spoke to me privately. Sure, you and His Majesty used to. She hesitated to speak. I know. Are you still willing to marry him? I clenched the imperial edict tightly. Mother, I am also afraid, but I am more afraid. Let me take a gamble. My mother sighed. If you come back and marry someone else, what if Song Jue finds out? He will not find out. The Emperor and Empress's wedding was set for the first day of the first lunar month. Unexpectedly, on the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, Song Jue rushed back to the capital to report my death. Fortunately, Xuzhou tipped me off, so I moved to my aunt's courtyard overnight to avoid running into him. Song Jue was haggard and ragged, leaning against the door, told my parents about my death, then set up a mourning hall for me in the mansion and enshrined my relics. My parents advised him that it was not appropriate to report a death during the emperor's wedding. Song Jue wore mourning clothes for me, held my memorial tablet, and looked lost. What about me? I will never have a wife again. Who cares? He knelt in front of the memorial tablet all day, staring at my name, sometimes talking to himself, sometimes crying softly. I once saw his figure from a distance. In just 1 month, he had lost so much weight that he was unrecognizable. He seemed to sense something and looked at me. I turned and walked away quickly. Perhaps we knew each other too well. I heard him grabbing people and asking who I was. She is Changshu's paternal aunt, and she will marry into the palace as empress in a few days. Song Jue stared for a long time, and then looked away. Ruwa did not come back with him. I asked my mother to intervene and bring Shishu back. The night before the wedding, Shishu met me and said Ruhua had been beaten badly, could not get out of bed, and was recuperating in Xuzhou. Miss, I heard this is the phoenix crown of the former Empress Liang, kept in the national treasury all along. It is really beautiful. I smiled faintly. At that moment, Song Jue suddenly visited. He had recently been preparing a 10,000 fortune card for his late wife, asking different people to write the character fortune, to bring good luck in the afterlife. Separated by a screen, Song Jue stood there, his manner humble. Aunt, you will be noble in the future. Please write a character for Shushu to let her rest in peace in the 9 springs. I dug my fingertips into my palms. Okay. Song Jue suddenly raised his head, his eyes shocked. Your voice. The nurse had already brought out the written character. Master Song, the voices of aunt and niece are somewhat similar. This is the character you want. Please leave. Song Jue looked at the unfamiliar handwriting, slowly took it, thanked her, and retreated. The Empress's wedding was grand and ceremonial. The Ning mansion had been taken over by the Ministry of Rights, and the servants were instead idle, crowding the corridor to watch the excitement. Only Song Jue stayed alone in the morning hall, closing the door and not coming out. The Ministry of Rights saw only one place in the mansion hanging white cloth and ordered people to take it down and replace it with red silk. The always gentle Song Jue suddenly rushed out, shouting, "Do not touch," and fell down the steps while pushing and shoving with the palace servants, his forehead broken and bleeding profusely. I was passing through the courtyard at that time. My footsteps paused involuntarily. Then I calmed my mind and walked forward without looking sideways. Whispers arose among the servants. I heard that the Ning family aunt was mentally disabled before. I heard that too. But she has not shown up for more than a year, only appeared a month ago. Maybe she was cured. Song Jue heard this. He suddenly looked up, his eyes red, struggled to stand up. Shushu? Is that you? I was boarding the carriage when that call came. The fan in my hand trembled, and my body fell backward. But I fell into a solid embrace. Xiaoshu looked at me quietly for a moment, then suddenly raised his hand and took away the fan covering my face. Do not hide. Did you not say you do not like hidden relationships? I was extremely shy and buried my face in his side. But even for only a moment, Song Jue had already seen my face clearly. Ning Changshu. He almost pounced forward, but was held tightly by the imperial guards, unable to move. Shushu. Song Jue looked at me, both sad and happy, tears pouring out. Shushu, you are really not dead. Xiaoshu picked me up in his arms, turned around slowly, and looked directly at Song Jue. Lord Song, look clearly. Your wife is dead. She is my empress? Ning Ruyu. Song Jue stared at Xiaoshu's face, shock deepening layer by layer, his lips trembling uncontrollably. It was you. It was actually you. Xiaoshu said no more and carried me onto the carriage. Song Jue still shouted in place. Let me go. You, let go. The carriage curtain was lifted, and Xiaoshu looked back lightly. Let him go. He looked at Song Jue, a faint smile curving his lips. I said I would send you a wedding invitation. I keep my word. The emperor's 6-horse carriage was wide and spacious. Xiaoshu and I sat side by side, neither of us speaking. We had not talked for a long time since our last argument. My fingertips curled up unconsciously, and I spoke softly. Boss! But he turned his face, his gaze falling on the shaking curtain shadow, his voice low and hoarse. It does not matter if you cannot do it. I am very tolerant of people now. His hand clenched tightly, his knuckles white. You do not understand. I waited for you and Song Jue for 3 years. I cannot wait any longer. I placed my hand over the back of his hand and called his name softly. Xiaoshu. A warm tear fell on the back of my hand. He turned his head, water mist in his eyes, suddenly reached out and pulled me into his arms, burying his face deeply in my shoulder. You do not know how sad I was when I watched you marry him back then, but I could not show it. Tears soaked through my clothes. He looked up at me, the corners of his eyes red. Xuzhou, I have not forgotten. That wedding night should have been mine. My nose soured, my throat choking. You were the one who gave it away. Xiaoshu closed his eyes, a pained look on his eyebrows. The situation was extremely dangerous back then. I did not even know if I could survive. That year, the rebels besieged the imperial city. They killed many people related to me. I stood on the city tower, seeing corpses everywhere, and could only be grateful. Grateful. He squeezed my hand tightly. Grateful that I did not completely ruin you. Maybe he would take good care of you. I looked at the man in front of me, as if seeing the young crown prince back then, fearless in the face of life and death, yet secretly grateful in the dark night that his beloved girl was far away from all this. My vision gradually blurred. I held his cold fingers back. Xiaoshu, what I wanted to say just now is that I am willing to marry you in this wedding. I looked into his eyes, speaking word by word, clearly and gently. I am willing to marry you. He was stunned, as if he did not understand, or did not dare to believe. At that moment, a loud bang came from outside the carriage. He took my hand and lifted the curtain. The night sky of the capital was bursting with fireworks, cluster after cluster, brilliant as a river of stars falling. Xiaoshu held my hand, the two of us standing on the carriage. Under the bright light, he looked down at me, his eyebrows dyed with a blush. I was not powerful enough to make decisions before, but in these 3 years I have left the harem empty and kept myself pure. I want to tell you that I can give you everything you want. The bright light reflected in his eyes, bright and burning. I curved my eyes into a smile. Xiaoshu, what do you want to? Under his stunned gaze, I stood on tiptoe, leaned close, and kissed his cheek gently, whispering, Men can still be replaced. Xiaoshu's face changed slightly, and he suddenly picked me up by the waist, lifting me high to eye level with him. You cannot replace me anymore. The emperor and empress's wedding, capital officials entered the palace to attend the banquet, and local officials presented gifts. Only one person was an exception. Song Jue. He was not a high-ranking official, nor a capital official, but was specially arranged by the Ministry of Rites to sit at the inner palace banquet. Outsiders only said it was because of his identity as the empress's niece's husband, and His Majesty showed special favor. I picked up a booklet and hit Xiaoshu. What are you doing? He glanced lightly and pulled me into his arms. You still have time to care about your ex-husband? He could hold both my wrists with one hand. They say 1 day of husband and wife is 100 days of kindness. The more you care about him, the more I will bully him. I struggled hard but could not break free. If you are so jealous, why did you marry me? Xiaoshu stared at me with deep eyes. You do not know. He bullied me first. When I hid my identity and made friends with him, he always talked about how good his wife was in front of me. It made my heart hurt. Yet I had to endure it, just to hear news about you. I felt a little helpless and glared at him. What exactly do you want to do? He leaned close to my ear softly, his voice ambiguous. He bullied me for 3 years, so I will take revenge for 3 years. When our love is stronger than yours and his, I will stop bullying him. I pushed him hard, my face burning. Get lost, you shameless thing. Xiaoshu sat on the bed, propping his chin with one hand, smiling like a fox. There were many people at the palace banquet, so Xiaoshu could not stay with me all the time. I saw Song Jue always looking at me and wanted to leave to change clothes to avoid him, but he blocked me in the corridor. Aunt! Shishu wanted to call someone, but I raised my hand to stop her. Master Song. His face was pale, his eyes covered with bloodshot eyes. Shushu, why? The day you left, we were still fine. I said I would come back to accompany you. The parting in Xuzhou seemed like a lifetime ago. Song Jue, You once promised me never to take a concubine in this life. I looked at him calmly. That day, I asked you if you insisted on taking this concubine, even if it meant losing me. Do you remember how you answered? He lowered his eyes and smiled in a trance. Just for this? He stepped forward, his gaze piercing straight at me. Xuzhou, you have been with other men, yet you cannot allow me to have someone else? Is that fair to me? A slight pain stabbed my heart. So it was for fairness? Even though I had guessed the reason for his taking a concubine, my heart still felt sour when I heard it with my own ears. Song Jue, I did have feelings for His Majesty, which may be hard for you to bear. But I married you, managed the household for you, miscarried your child, entertained guests for you. I did more for you than I ever did for Xuzhou. Do you think that is fair to me? In the years I married you, I never did anything to wrong you. I turned and instructed Xuzhou. Go get those letters. Xuzhou understood immediately and came back soon. I picked up the stack of letter papers, waved it gently, and threw it at Song Jue. The letters fluttered down like snowflakes. Song Jue was stunned and picked up one. When he saw the familiar handwriting, his fingers began to tremble. What is this? I looked into his eyes and smiled coldly. You do not recognize Xuzhou, but do you not recognize the imperial brush? For a full 3 years, more than 30 letters, His Majesty wrote to urge me to return to the capital every month at the beginning, and I never replied. It was you who gave him a chance. Xuzhou and I had a bet. If you took a concubine, I would allow him to come fetch me. Song Jue held the letter paper in a daze for a moment, then suddenly squatted down, hurriedly picking up the rest of the letters, looking at them one by one, and finally hugged them tightly, his shoulders trembling slightly. Ruhua told me you were still connected to someone else. I also checked. Someone from the capital always sent you things, and the flowers in your yard were so precious. I was just jealous. Song Jue fell to the ground, looked up at me, confused and painful. Xuzhou, I really cared about you. You know that? I never denied his true heart, nor did I ever deny my affection for him. Song Jue, our fate is over. I turned and left. I had not taken a few steps when I was hit from behind. Then Song Jue hugged my arm from behind, holding it tighter and tighter, making it hard to breathe. Xuzhou, the person you love is me. Have you forgotten? The night before you left, I came to you, and we reconciled. His voice choked, every word trembling. I really thought you had forgiven me. Otherwise, I would never have let you leave me, not for a moment. I lowered my head and was silent for a long time. Should I make it clear that it was not him that night? At that moment, a voice without emotion came from not far ahead. It was I that night. Song Jue froze completely. Xuzhou walked over expressionlessly, pulled me behind him, and confronted Song Jue himself. It was I in her room that night. You were drunk and interrupted our good time. Do you want me to ask the people from the prison to help you remember? Song Jue looked at him darkly. Even if you are the emperor, you are just a villain who stole another man's wife. I will never believe you. You only know how to sow discord between our husband and wife. Xuzhou curled his lips. If it were not for the fact that you once saved her life, I would have killed you long ago. He held my hand tightly and looked at me sideways. Tell him, who did you favor that night? I pressed my lips together and tried to pull my hand away, but he held it tighter, a trace of grievance floating in his eyes. Did you not say you do not want hidden relationships? I do not want them either. I had to meet Song Jue's gaze. What he said is true. Nothing happened between us that night. The mark you saw was left by him. Song Jue's eyes widened with anger, and he staggered back. Xuzhou, how could you do this to me? But I suddenly felt a weight lifted off my heart. Now we are truly fair. Song Jue wanted to say more, but Xuzhou signaled the palace servants to come forward and take him away from the palace garden without mercy. Xuzhou was particularly vengeful. He transferred Song Jue to the capital as a minor official, just to keep him in the capital, and often hear about the emperor and empress's harmonious marriage. Ruhua still did not show up. I heard that Song Jue dealt with her as soon as he returned, asking her if she knew about the bet between Xuzhou and me. Ruhua could not deny it, and only said, "If we talk about guilt, I only take 3 parts, and that is for betraying the friendship between my lady and me. You take 7 parts. You had an affair with me, and thought you could hold on to her forever?" Song Jue was furious at that time, and gave her to a friend as a gift a few days later, going to the capital to take office alone for a 3-year term. In those 3 years, Song Jue and I met occasionally, and he would salute me respectfully according to the rules. At first, he was not so obedient, and could not help calling me Xuzhou. But Xiao Shu specially sent people to monitor him. As long as he showed the slightest disrespect to me, people from the palace would come to teach him the rules. If he did not learn once, they would teach him again, very patiently. Xiao Shu's explanation for this was, "I allow him to miss you, but he must do exactly what I did back then." Did I show up in front of you in those 3 years? Song Jue gradually understood his intention, and only looked at me from a distance among the officials when Xiao Shu and I went out. I never looked back. My gaze always fell on Xiao Shu beside me. Today, Xiao Shu and I went to offer incense to heaven. In the morning, Shishu told me she had seen Ruhua a few days ago. She had been ransomed by someone with a lot of money, and now did some business to support herself, living quite well. She was extremely ashamed and asked Shishu to pass a message to me. Back then, seeing Song Jue treat me so gently day and night, she had developed improper thoughts and was used by someone with ulterior motives. She had also regretted deeply all night for hurting me, but for the slightest possibility of having Song Jue to herself, she still did it. Shishu asked me, "Who do you think the person with ulterior motives she mentioned is?" I said I did not know, but I knew Song Jue's character. Song Jue had once been a student of my father. He was gentle, polite, grateful, and did not forget to visit when he returned to the capital to report on his duties, even bringing precious medicinal herbs from Xuzhou personally. I had met him once in the corridor. A gentleman of modesty, like a pure jade. I was used to seeing people as dazzling as Xiao Shu. When I first saw such a simple jade, I also found it fresh. Before marrying Song Jue, my father had reminded me that Song Jue was a man suitable for family life. But his mind was too delicate. Even a grain of sand could grind him until he bleed. I understood. "Father, since I am marrying him, I will cherish him too. I swear I will never return to the capital or see Xiao Shu again in this life." Song Jue, you only knew I was strict with you, but you did not know I was just as strict with myself. But this world is not just you and me, there are others. There are always people with ulterior motives. There are always people who are unwilling. At this moment, perhaps I had been staring at the person beside me for too long. Xiao Shu looked sideways slightly, a smile curving his lips. "Empress, in front of everyone, why do you keep staring at me? Am I that good looking?" He took the opportunity to approach me quietly while handing over the incense. "When we go back tonight, I will let you look as much as you want. Do not close your eyes." My face turned slightly hot. I held the incense stick, stepped forward half a step, and suddenly forgot what to do. Xiao Shu walked out from behind me, holding his incense in one hand and my hand in the other. The two of us knelt down side by side at the same time, bowing to the gods. "Ning Changshu, from now on, you are my empress for life." Under the overlapping dragon and phoenix embroidery, our hands were tightly held together.